Hello there friends, Steve here. Yeah, I just wanted to know really, just my own sanity maybe. What do you think is more important? The shape of the earth or the state of society? Am I losing my mind? All of these apparent alternative independent media channels are deciding to distract us people onto things like, is the world flat? What's it going to solve? What's it going to prove? There's children in need and other elderly and people who are in need on this planet. And they're watching people argue about whether the Earth's flat or round. Okay, let's say it was flat. What difference would it make? I'll tell you what difference it would make. We'd have a nice flat Earth for the nice flat UN logo. So that, because you can't own a round logo, you can only own a flat logo. So how are you going to own the Earth unless you make it somehow flat? Again, falling for the biggest trick in the book, and all of these alternative media channels seem to be either just falling for it, looking for popularity, looking for extra money on the channel, or they're purposely diverting and distracting and wasting our time and making us look ridiculous. Look away, folks. Don't look into, it's a hobby. If you want to look at asteroids coming, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, it's a hobby. If an asteroid hits tomorrow, there's nothing you're going to do about it. So you can either live in doom, or you can just forget about that, or it's a hobby. Whether there's underground cities and bases, it's largely it's an interest in conspiracy theories. And yes, there are underground cities, and there are maybe alien bases, and I don't know. But unless they're in reach, I don't care. There's people suffering. There's things that I see in my own field of vision, within my own reach, that I can change in life. I don't think the shape of the planet is going to change it, or time travel, or aliens, or any of this. If the aliens come, then come. But I'm not going to sit here praying for them. I'm not going to sit here waiting for them. The power is in our hands to do something. Now, don't make yourself look a fool by putting stupidity in that hand. And then passing it out to others. Oh, this is the most important thing, that our Earth is actually not flat or round or hollow or whatever. Who gives a damn? There's time. There's only time, and time runs out. I'm getting older, you're getting older, and time moves on, and we have to do something with that time. And not waste it. Not waste it on hobbies. If you've got a hobby, keep it to yourself and your friends, but don't push it as being the most important thing that's going to save, Politicians lie, we know that. We're not even going to go to the politicians to ask them for anything because they lie. That's why I don't go demonstrating. I think it's good that we demonstrate so that other people see how many people are pissed off and angry with society. But at the end of the day, we're not calling out to politicians to make a change. We are the change, don't you get it? So don't be a stupid, foolish change. All this eyes open, no fear, and all this looking at conspiracy, it's very important for a certain transparency. But then we just watch it like it's an addiction. And I think anybody who puts out anything about flat Earth or the moon hologram or secret alien bases or anything should remind you, the viewer, that it's a side thing. It's not the main thing. It's like a hobby, a serious hobby for some. It needs to be respected, just like other people like to make apple pies, and I love apple pies, and I love a good mystery story. But I like to focus on the things that we can do, or the things that I can do. And I know that it's not that I don't watch this stuff anymore. I was interested in it, but I'm running out of time, and I've already watched the flat Earth stuff 10 years ago. I just can't. I ain't got the time for any of that oversized conspiracy theory stuff. That you can question me on. I know all about the Montauk chair. I know all about Agenda 21 and stuff, and it gets boring after about 10 years or 20 years of looking into this stuff. You realise that most of it's just a level of deception that you've got to get over. You've got to grow up. You've got to start making your own decisions and not look for proof in these theories, and look for some kind of massive giant lawsuit we can make out against NASA or the government or the Vatican. We don't even know nothing. We don't even know what words mean. We don't know what the word anarchy means, most of the people. You know, the word paedophile. You know, it's been thrown around. People are like using it for some excuse to not pay TV licence or not to vote for government or whatever. No, it's a problem. And the word isn't actually even a legal problem. So when you're starting with accusations about paedophilia, that's an accusation that's based on purely a medical terminology, a psychological label for an illness. What we're talking about here is child molestation. And it can't be done by asking the government to stop it, because it's on all levels of society. Child misuse, and not just physical misuse, but like even just going to, for a child to have to go to these modern schools, to me is one of the worst psychological misuses. Now, I don't blame any particular individual or group of individuals, because it's across countries and they don't speak the same language, so it's got to be something deeper, but we have to break it. We have to break it on an individual level. We can't simply trust somebody because they've got a suit and tie on and they're talking amazing words. You know, it's not about the words we say, it's about the things that we do with our hands. It's about the way we treat each other. It's about the way we care for each other. It's about the way we defend each other. You know inside anyway. I'm just saying these things. But you know, if you just came back to yourself and stopped listening to all of this crap and stop looking for like proof on the outside through doubt of yourself, then you would start to get closer to yourself. You know, those are quite empowering words, and people think, yeah, you know, but it's up to you. Do you want to do evil or do you want to do good? I'm sure the evil people don't really give much thought to what they do. So let's let the good people start doing something without giving it so much thought. Let's just be good. Let's just follow the things that, you know, just follow our feelings, follow our anger, follow our, you know, but put it to something that's useful, and not just distract everybody else, because you might think that, you know, NASA and the government and whatever is the key to everything, but, you know, wasting everybody else's time with just such out of reach pseudoscience that's got no evidence or proof. You know, the only proof that we've got for most of the stuff that we're getting tricked with is the proof from the people who are purportedly making the lies. So how do we know they're not just stitching themselves up just to trick into them thinking that, you know, this goes on all levels, and that's why we have to look at what we can do for the children and the, you know, the people who need help. That's what we need to look at, not the bigger picture. We need to understand the bigger picture, because the deception works on a bigger picture, because we're all being deceived and affected by something that's much bigger than all men, all women, all people, all nations. We are being affected. Maybe there's people up there in the shadows that know what's going on, but maybe it's a good plan, maybe it's an educational thing that we should just finally understand and finally start to activate. And the idea that the punchline to the whole joke is that you are the one